Let us stop vandals before they destroy our collective national heritage, so we can have the Nigeria of our dreams, where there will be light at all times. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Our programs are getting better and fresher. And it's because we are thinking about you. NTA, it's all about you.
NTA Language.
Jama'a masu kallon labaran NTA Hausa barkanmu da warhaka. Ni ne.
Broadcasted in the language you understand better. Our programs.
Hello. Hope is rising for the long-suffering petroleum industry bill. It might as well be passed by January next year. And to know what's driving this optimism, just come with me on News Extra tonight. You'll also get to know how women are picking up the gauntlet to fight corruption to a standstill. On the political front, it's time for fence mending between the leadership of the Senate and the governing APC. But we're starting off tonight with the appointment of a transaction parties for the Eurobond for capital projects financing. And that's what's coming from the Villa. I'm Rhoda Albo, and I'd like you to come along with me tonight. All right, let's begin this way. The federal government has approved the appointment of transaction parties for $1 billion Eurobond to be raised for capital projects financing in January next year. Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun announced this while briefing newsmen after the meeting of the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
Presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari, the Federal Executive Council critically examined the submission by the Ministry of Finance and approved its recommendations in respect of the Eurobond transaction parties. Consequently, Citigroup, Standard Chartered Bank, Stanbic IBTC, White & Case, Bueno Godalu, and Africa Practices Communications were formally engaged to run any Eurobond issuance program of government for the next 3 years. The $1 billion Eurobond is part of the 2016 capital budget financing commencing in January next year.
We are confident that we'll be able to complete these transactions expediently. There's already significant interest. The oil price stability obviously is helping us. Currently, there's quite a bit of demand for emerging market paper. Nigeria's paper currently is trading around the 7 to 8% mark. So we're expecting to get quite a competitive pricing on the issuance program, which, as I said, is to be used for the purposes of funding capital projects as part of the 2016 budget.
Already, the minister said a certificate of no objection has been obtained from the Bureau of Public Procurement for the appointment of the transaction parties selected through a competitive open tender process. Also approved by the Council is the amendment to the Gazette of the establishment of Hydrocarbon Pollution Restoration Project, HYPREP. This is to ensure more inclusiveness and transparency in the renewed commitment by the Buhari administration to the cleanup of the Niger Delta, beginning with the Ogoni land.
Why is this so important? Well, what we have said is in the past Gazette did not put in place some of the governing structures that we need, like the governing board, like the board of trustees, or a structure there that would be held accountable for the enormous amount of money that is already available to spend, but additional monies that we can leverage from the money that we have that is being offered by different partners to come into cleaning up and then dealing with the livelihoods after.
The minister said the rollout program is to take off next year with the construction of a center of excellence, the Integrated Soil Treatment Center, as well as the empowerment of women in the contaminated areas.
And so we have to find better ways of speaking with communities, but also ensuring that livelihoods of women are not affected. We are also speaking to many of the young people there, and we've had some good feedback from those who are interested in being part of the rollout of the cleanup of the Ogoni land in the new year.
Youth and Sports raised the issue today.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Muhammad, who coordinated the media briefing, said the current hostility between the Queens of African football, the Super Falcons of Nigeria, and the nation's football authorities was also brought up at the council meeting and gave the assurance that issues of concern are being looked into. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
6 newly appointed national commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, have been sworn in to fill existing vacancies in the nation's electoral body. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony, restated his commitment of his administration towards restoring the trust and confidence of Nigerians in the ballot box. Here again is Adam Sambo.
I will discharge my duties to the best of my ability, faithfully and in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The new INEC National Commissioners inaugurated by the President include Muhammad Haruna, North Central, retired Air Vice Marshal Tijani Muazu, North East, and Abubakar Nahuche, North West. Others are Professor Okechukwu Ibiano, South East, May Agbamuche Mbu, South South, and Dr. Adekunle Agumola Ladipo, South West. President Muhammadu Buhari, who congratulated the appointees, expressed the belief that they are not unmindful of the unfortunate situations that characterize some of the by-elections conducted so far across the country. Their appointments, he therefore said, came at a critical time in the nation's political development when his administration is committed to bequeathing to Nigerians a legacy of integrity in the electoral process of the country.
You are people of great integrity, renowned throughout the country. This administration will depend on you to be firm and fair. We want every Nigerian to use his PVC, cross-checked by a card reader, that he has been given the opportunity, the security, in their respective constituencies to elect those they want to elect. The rest is left to their conscience and to God.
Professor Okechukwu Ibiano, who responded on behalf of the new appointees, promised to live above board and exhibit high sense of patriotism in the discharge of their responsibilities. INEC National Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who witnessed the inauguration ceremony, expressed optimism that the new commissioners will add value to the commission in the task of consolidating the achievements of the 2015 elections, beginning with the forthcoming legislative rerun elections in Rivers State.
There is nothing new that we are going to do in Rivers beyond what we have always done. Votes must count, because ultimately it's the people of Rivers that will determine who will become their senators, members of the House of Representatives, and members of the State Assembly. We want to pledge to Nigerians that we'll never shirk in that responsibility. We'll continue to discharge our responsibilities according to the law and the Constitution of this country.
INEC, the national chairman, said, has a responsibility to the Nigerian nation and will never be distracted by any allegations. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has assured the international community that the end of Boko Haram insurgency and terrorism in Nigeria is in sight. The president gave the assurance in Dakar, Senegal, at a panel discussion with other heads of state during the 3rd International Forum on Peace and Security in Africa. Here again is Adamu Sambu.
The Peace and Security Forum, organized by Senegalese President Macky Sall in collaboration with the African Union, is aimed at sharing experiences and taking measures towards achieving a secure, stable, and conflict-free Africa by the year 2020. In their contributions, President Sall and the leaders of Cape Verde, Togo, Mali, and Libya, as well as the Defense Minister of France, posit that terrorism and violent extremism affect all regions and therefore require a synergy of efforts towards building suitable prevention and counter strategy beyond conventional security responses. President Muhammadu Buhari, who spoke extensively on the Boko Haram insurgency, noted with delight the increased cooperation and collaboration between Nigeria and her neighbors in the task of containing the menace. He said already in the neighboring Chad, the fleeing terrorists from Nigeria are surrendering en masse.
The good news I have is that the end of rainy season has come in that region. The multinational joint task force are in their respective positions, and at an agreed time, they need to move and move simultaneously and spontaneously, and for us, see the end of Boko Haram. We are now operating in Sambisa forest. Stability is within sight.
The president is, however, worried over the acts of economic sabotage in the Niger Delta, especially the subversion of the nation's critical assets offshore, as well as the theft and illegal transportation of crude oil through the Gulf of Guinea, and solicited continued support from the international community in containing the situation.
For all intents and purposes, we are in control of the situation in Nigeria, and we are using the leadership, both ethnic and military, to try and persuade the young men to down their arms. And this, we are succeeding. The main problem, I believe, for our region is unemployment of able-bodied persons. Nigeria, with a population of 180 million, 65% of that population is under the age of 35, and they are looking for jobs, any type of job, to survive.
His administration, he said, is committed towards addressing the problem of joblessness in the country by turning to agriculture and mining for enhanced economic fortune and food security. Governor Ibrahim Gaidam of Yobe State corroborated President Buhari's submission on the Boko Haram insurgency, confirming that the terrorist group is on the verge of becoming history.
As I speak to you now, we have gotten relative fix. Like now in Yobe, and I think we have not had any incidences of Boko Haram for the past 1 year or so. And the military are working hard. God will assist them, guide them to ensure that anything to do with Boko Haram has been eliminated.
Without security, we will not be able to achieve the goals we have set out for ourselves. In the Niger Delta, and in Edo State in particular, when we're doing a mapping of the communities that harbor militants and trying to see how we can engage the young people there.
The forum had as its theme, Africa.
Adamu Sambo's report there. Now let's turn our attention to the Senate, as the Senate has passed President Buhari's request for the environment of funds appropriated for special intervention projects. National Assembly correspondent Waziri Zayana reports that the fund is for critical, recurrent and capital items across the country between 2016 and 2018.
President Buhari had requested for environment of 280 billion naira in the 2016 budget for provision of needed funds, but the Senate twice asked for adequate and additional fact. At Wednesday's plenary, the environment sailed through with very little objection.
The committee also recommends that the sum of 1,500 million naira provided for as presidential initiative for the Northeast and Spine be allocated to the National Commission for Refugees.
The Presidential Committee for the Northeast is there. And clearly, the presidential orders specifies that that money, all monies accrued or that is in account of those three agencies will now be handed over to the Presidential Committee on North-East.
What I suggest, let me finish, is that if we pass this, maybe the two committees can address it through a corrigendum, if it becomes absolutely necessary.
The Senate also approved report of the Committee on Information and National Orientation on the 2016 budget of the Nigerian Television Authority, National Broadcasting Commission, News Agency of Nigeria, and that of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria.
A total sum of 5 billion naira only is recommended for Nigerian Television Authority to make up for the expected shortfall in the provisions of 2016 Appropriation Act.
Other reports considered and passed include that of the Committee on Housing on the 2016 budget of the Federal Housing Authority and Federal Mortgage Bank.
In the course of carrying out this assignment, the committee made the following observations. 1, the Federal Housing Authority has not received budgetary allocation from the federal appropriation since 2003.
Raising an order of urgent importance, Chairman Senate Committee on Sports, Obin Naogba, lamented the recent ill treatment being meted to the members of the Nigerian Super Falcons.
Members of the squad in Abuja on Monday threatened to occupy the National Assembly if the allowances and bonuses were not paid.
It is the women that have actually made us very proud as a country through the game of soccer.
In the meantime, the Senate will tomorrow deliberate and consider the confirmation of the appointment of the EFCC chairman, Ibrahim Magu. From the National Assembly, Wazir Zayan, NTA News.
Now, after decades of failed attempts at repositioning the nation's oil and gas sector as a transparent and globally competitive industry through an omnibus legislation, the National Assembly has taken a major step towards fast-tracking the process. Energy correspondent Hawa Salihu Adama reports of the high indication of optimism of the passage of the Petroleum Industry Governance and Institutional Bill by January 2017 was expressed at the start of a 3-day public hearing declared open by Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki.
The Petroleum Industry Governance Bill is a product of the current reform project by the 8th Senate, necessitated by the desire to reform a politically sensitive industry through unbundling into manageable compartments. As the first tranche in the reform process, the bill seeks to address the lack of clarity of roles, regulation, agency conflicts and unnecessary overlap of functions.
The key objectives of the petroleum industry, therefore, is to reform this segment of the industry by introducing international best practices that have led other countries to success in the development of their various oil and gas sectors. We must break these jinx once and for all.
And industry operators led by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, the Department of Petroleum Resources, BPE, Pengasen and Nupeng, as well as the people of the Niger Delta, took turns to express concerns and expected adjustments before members of the Senate Joint Committee.
Because at the moment the expertise of running or exploring for oil is resident in NMTC, our suggestion is that they should leave the frontier exploration activities or services with the NPC.
With the policy that's coming up, most is being put on the appropriate segment where they will be, the issue will be addressed.
For almost 20 years or more, we have not expanded our assets, in the petroleum industry, unless we have commercial entities that will have enough money to do this business.
As other interest groups stand by for their presentations, fiscal framework and host community issues are urgent areas of consideration the Senate leadership says will receive priority. The Petroleum Industry Bill, as was the case in the past, no doubt in over a decade, made several trips to the National Assembly. But with the renewed commitment to unbundle this bill, the expectation is that the investment delay experienced so far will soon be addressed with the expected passage of the independent entities. From the National Assembly, I'm Hawa Salihu Adama, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has passed its second reading a bill for an act to empower states to take control of revenue from solid minerals deposit in their states. Members also received a petition from wife of former president of Nigeria, Patience Jonathan, against the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, on what she alleged to be EFCC's incessant harassment. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports.
The bill seeks to alter the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended and seeks to vest the power to control and manage revenues from solid minerals to states that has the resources.
Get to a place like Kaduna. Kaduna is blessed with so much mineral resources, even including gold.
Whatever you have in your area, you keep and pay some tax to the federal government.
A bill for an act to provide for independent candidature in Nigeria's system, sponsored by Representative Edward Pojok from Plateau State, and a bill for an act to provide for the legislature, judiciary, and electoral commissions to prepare and lay their budgets before relevant legislative arms of government, sponsored by Representative Shehu Shagari from Sokoto State, were also passed at second reading.
But if the system allowed them to, let's say, be independent candidates, we will not be having proliferation of many political parties.
There is no way INEC or state INEC will be independent if they go cap in hand begging.
Members resolved to investigate the non-compliance by broadcasting organizations in remitting a percentage of their annual income to the National Broadcasting Commission as provided in Section 14, Subsection 2 of the Broadcasting Commission Act, moved by Representative Jones Onyerere from Imo State.
Most of the broadcasting industries are not complying with the payment of the stated fees.
The House resolved to permit its suspended member, Representative Abdulmumin Jibrin, to gain access to the National Assembly so as to enable him appear before the House Committee on Ethics and Privileges to defend himself from allegations of operating a foreign account.
He has the right to fair hearing, and it won't be proper for them to proceed without according him that right.
A total of 17 bills were passed at first reading, and one of them is the Petroleum Industry Bill. Meanwhile, the House has inaugurated a 16-man ad hoc committee that will investigate $17 billion missing from the sales of Nigeria's crude oil between 2011 to 2014.
Preliminary reports allege that over 57 million barrels of Nigerian crude oil were illegally exported and sold in the USA between January 2011 and December 2014.
Let me assure you that the House will give you all the support you need to carry this assignment.
The committee assured Nigerians of fairness, patriotism, and dedication in carrying out its assignments. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nko, NTA News.
The wife of the president, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has emphasized the need for women to remain proactive in the development of anti-corruption strategies in order to bring corruption to a standstill in Nigeria. Mrs. Buhari stated this when she flagged off a War Against Corruption campaign tagged Nigerian Women Against Corruption. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabiru reports that the campaign was put together by the wife of the president in collaboration with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Corruption, stakeholders say, is a cankerworm that entrenched into every facet of human endeavor, which negative effect deter development and which, if not completely eliminated, attaining the desired progress of the society will remain a mirage. The wife of the president took the bull by the horn and mobilized all Nigerian women to come on board in the crusade to fight corruption. With the flag of the campaign tagged "Women Who Build the Home Can Tame the Corruption Monster," the wife of the president, who noted the effort of the government in fighting corruption, explained that women participation in the anti-corruption crusade is very significant, especially as the government launched Change Begin With Me campaign. She therefore challenged all the 36 states governors' wives, women's societies, and other women professional organizations, as well as wives of the service chiefs and those of the ministers who were all present at the program, to take the campaign to every part of the country.
It is time for us to go back and be the builders that we are meant to be. Every woman is the pillar of our home as well as in the society. We should not stand and fold our hands while our homes and lives are being destroyed by this cankerworm called corruption.
I know that women are change agents. And I know, even as Professor Grace Alele Williams told us, if we can work hard, play hard, and keep straight, there will be no more corruption.
The acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, and the former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Mariam Aloma Mukhtar, as well as former chairperson of the EFCC, Farida Waziri, and other speakers from the National Assembly and other sectors of the economy underscore the role of women in the fight against corruption.
The choice of women as a torchbearer in this important crusade is informed by the vital role they play in making society a better place.
Much of the acts of corruption we have today emanates mostly from abuse of power by those entrusted with it.
The campaign requires mass enlightenment to achieve success. The Director General of the National Orientation Agency, NOAA, Garba Abari, Voice of Nigeria, Osita Okechukwu, and the DG of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, reaffirmed their commitment to remain firm in achieving the desired objective. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
A major part of the Change Begins With Me campaign of the federal government targets social reforms, encouraging the display of proper and positive efforts by Nigerians. Cecil Igbalo reports that this attitudinal change in behavior and practice must birth responsibility, service, patriotism and sacrifice, even in seemingly simple acts of proper waste disposal and obeying traffic.
Foul to the nose, sore to the eyes. Yet, this is the delicacy served daily at the nation's capital, where order is expected to be paramount. It might be a painter's delight, but this piled up garbage sitting comfortably by the roadside can be much more than offensive to being outrightly disastrous as it finds its way to the drainage.
They just dump trash all over the street where a lot of people are passing. The odor that oozes out here is crazy. It's not beneficial to the health.
There are some cars that are parked over there before they drop this container, just to prevent them from throwing it, but they couldn't mind. You know how people can behave.
Call it color blindness, but the red numbers of the traffic lights seem to be only counting offenders, while the green ones appear insufficient to guarantee smooth and unimpeded right-of-way.
People know that when it's red, you're supposed to stop. When it's green, is a go for you, but they still move ahead of, the traffic when it's even red.
Order, or a semblance of it, is what provides a platform on which society thrives seamlessly. The belief that the motorists will obey the traffic rule is what gives me, the pedestrian, the confidence to walk across this stretch. But what happens in a society where order is absent is what analysts say is a challenge that the nation has to fix, and quickly too.
Dot by dot, the dent in the society's moral firmament is threatening a secure and prosperous future. The Nigeria of our dreams, scholars say, begins with you and me.
Since I'm collecting my salary, I have to work towards my salary.
If all of us as individuals, as Nigerians, decide to show personal examples, I think it will spread, it will infect every one of us.
A nation is great, not just because of its material endowments, but its men and women steadfast on that which is right.
Change begins with me. Move!
Cecil Egbela's report there. And things appear to be getting better for the All Progressives Congress, an international convergence towards fostering cordial relationship between the Senate and the All Progressives hierarchy. The leadership of the party held an interactive session with the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, and other caucus members in the Senate on the APC platform. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Binukudu has more details.
The relationship between the Senate leadership and the APC leadership has not been so good since the proclamation of the 8th Senate, which saw the emergence of Bukola Saraki as the Senate President. This meeting, the first of its kind, was at the instance of the party to foster unity between the two and by extension with the executive.
The economy is tough. As a result, people are going through very hard times, and it is certainly not acceptable that the public looking up at us will not see that we are all concentrated, determined, focused on programs, issues that will ameliorate not just the economy but the conditions of living of the ordinary Nigerian.
After more than 2 hours of closed session, Senate President Bukola Saraki described the meeting as timely and fruitful.
Very good meeting. We all bore our minds, told ourselves the hard truth. But at the end of the day, we all accepted certain things were not done well. We accepted to move forward.
We must work closely together to address some of the glitches that still exist in the relationships between the party, the National Assembly, and the executive.
The Government All Progressives Congress APC has majority as both chambers of the National Assembly, the Senate and the House of Representatives. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online on the go via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Economic activities in some communities in the northeast are already in a rebound mode as peace takes root in previously troubled parts of the region. Correspondent Usman Ali was in Bonia, the Yobe state, and reports the social and economic life is on stream, fast-tracking the rebuilding of that community.
The barricades have been cleared to signal a new beginning. The rebuilding of Bunyadi means its former inhabitants and all people of good faith are welcome here. This community witnessed the height of insurgent activities in 2014 when members of the terrorist group Boko Haram invaded, killing many and destroying property worth millions. Though relics of that time still abound, the once vibrant town appears poised to stage a comeback. Hope has replaced despair. And with the population of Bunyadi increasing daily, chances are that the town will be on its feet quicker than anticipated.
We no longer have security threats since our return in April. Nothing bad happened here. People report anything suspicious to the authorities.
Bunyadi is fast recovering. Many people who fled because of insurgency attack have returned. Hope for a better life is what people here are yearning for. Some challenges, however, remain. Healthcare, electricity and potable water are yet to be restored in Bunyadi.
Our hospital in Bunyadi does not function. It is really difficult for us when pregnant women are in labor, especially at night.
No electricity in our town. Boko Haram destroyed the facilities, including cables and poles.
Bunyadi, like several communities in the northeast, had experienced the beautiful and the ugly. Perhaps this will help the town and its people better understand what future they want for their community and work for its actualization. Usman Aliu, NTA News.
The Nigerian army is not in Anambra State to occupy the state, but rather to address crime this Yuletide period. The governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, said this at the exercise Python Dance Base in Oka, Anambra State. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa was at the event.
Nigeria, a developing country, is faced with different security challenges in different zones that called for army's intervention. These include insurgency in the northeast, cattle rustling and clashes between farmers and herdsmen in the north central, while militancy and kidnapping has dislocated some commercial activities in the Niger Delta regions. To address these threats, the army introduced Operation Lafia Dole in the northeast, Exercise Harbin Kunama in the northwest, and Exercise Crocodile Smile in the Niger Delta region. Just like other exercises, Python dance is aimed at retraining the troops to be acquainted with the unique terrain of the zones, special tactics and strategies desired to effectively tackle criminality in the area.
As a preventive measure, also, we need to train and ensure that our troops conduct themselves professionally. We have very good and robust rules of engagement where we respect the individual, we respect human rights.
Though the state government has been proactive on security issues, the exercise Governor Obiano noted is a welcome development.
The only people that should be afraid of this exercise should be the armed robbers, the kidnappers.
The exercise Python dance, coordinated by the 82 Division Enugu, is expected to last till the end of 2016. From Oka, the Anambra State capital, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Still staying with security, the Nigerian police force has reacted to allegations peddled in the media following the redeployment of Chief Security Officer to the Governor of Rivers State, DSP Promise Nwosu. In a statement from the Office of a Force Public Relations Officer, Force Headquarters, DCP Don Anguna, an Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of operations in the state had in the course of monitoring the recent political protests, spotted DSP Nwosu amongst the protesting party faithfuls in a manner that is prejudicial to discipline and displaying conducts unexpected of an officer of his caliber and office. The active presence of the CSO to the governor in a partisan crowd of an opposition party to the governor in a clandestine and suspicious manner was considered mischievous and detrimental to the security of the state and the public order, and also contrary to his oath of office, which constitute an offense against discipline. The CSO, according to the statement, was challenged by a superior officer, but he exhibited conduct that violates norms and values of the force. As a result of the misconduct, the Inspector General of Police has ordered the redeployment of the CSO pending further disciplinary action. The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has granted former First Lady Patience Jonathan leave to amend her civil suit. Justice Muhammad granted the application today in Lagos. Vera Chinwuba has the details of the proceeding.
The former First Lady, Mrs. Patience Jonathan, in the civil suit before Justice Idris Muhammad, is claiming that EFCC froze 4 of her accounts with Skybank in the name of 4 companies. The accounts, she said, have more than $15 million funds belonging to her. The companies had been arraigned on the 15th of September, pleaded not guilty to money laundering in the criminal charge before Justice Babs Kweminu of the Federal High Court. The judge had, however, refused to order forfeiture of the funds to the federal government until the trial of others named in the charge was concluded. EFCC had arraigned the companies with the former Special Advisor on Domestic Affairs to former President Jonathan, Waripomo Dadafa, Amajoyi Briggs, a legal practitioner, and Adedamola Bolokodo, a banker. They all pleaded not guilty to the 17-count charge. The former First Lady, in a separate suit against the EFCC and Skybank, is seeking an order to defreeze the accounts and her money released. Her counsel, Ifedaya Adedipe, told the court that his client amended her claim and filed a motion to regularize the processes. The court granted the request. EFCC counsel Rotimi Uyedapo told the court he would also amend his counter affidavit, which the court granted. Oyedapo accused the applicant of changing the addresses of the companies in her suit. January 18th has been slated for further hearing. In Lagos, Viera Chumuba, NTA News.
The just concluded Abuja Carnival has been described as one of the many potent platforms to showcase Nigeria's rich cultural heritage. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo stated this in a message to the closing ceremony of this year's Abuja Carnival. Anthony Forsing reports.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who was represented by Senator Babafemi Ojudu, maintained that the federal government is desirous in moving the creative industry to an enviable height for the nation's youths to develop their talents in a positive manner. He said with the display of mastery and complete grasp of the creative industry at the just concluded fiesta by participants from across the country, the abundant talent they showcased is a testimony to the fact that the sector is viable.
What you have done has shown that Nigeria is bound for the heights. You are already opening our eyes to the possibilities of so much that we can do with our cultures in the area of diversifying our economy.
Information and Culture Minister Laia Mohammed had earlier congratulated the organizers and the participating states for their show of competence and dedication in wanting to heed the federal government's moves to make the sector a lucrative one.
Nigeria, as we all know, is endowed with diverse cultural heritage and a thriving multi-sectoral creative industry, which is a key contributor to economic growth.
In the end, Kogi State emerged overall winner as other states equally picked prizes in the various groupings. The Abuja Carnival was created to provide a unique brand for the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory to come together and promote unity in diversity amongst the people and further strengthen the mutual bond as a country. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Tourism experts have commended government's efforts in revamping the sector, especially the creative arts, in boosting the nation's economy and creating jobs. Talatu Ezerike reports that they were speaking on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live.
Nigeria is blessed with rich cultural heritage and is a force to reckon with in the creative industry. However, policy somersaults and neglect were some factors that affected the sector, which the present government is addressing for developmental gains.
There must be some kind of deliberate policy that makes it as integral as studying the sciences was at one point in our history. So that way a child starts earning from when he's even in primary school. Why not? If he has the gift, just guide him and let him start earning his own money, even to pay his fees, if possible.
The Ebra hand-woven cloth, 1994, Calabar, Nafest. They came first. It was used in designing Nigerian military wares, but today we spend billions to import foreign material.
There are three aspects that the government is here to look into: money laundering through arts, tax evasion. The other issue is funding of nefarious things, drug, terrorism, and whatnot through arts. That is why you need to regulate this profession.
It is widely held that Nigeria has all that it takes to be a preferred tourist destination through the various carnivals and festivals, but that the issues of enabling environment and private partnership must be taken seriously to stand out. Talatu Ezerike, NTA News.
Thank you, Talatu Ezerike. Time now for us to take a break, and News Extra will be back with more reports in just a moment.
When you look at the world today, what do you see? The obvious, or much more? Do you hear a call tune, or the talents of thousands paying off? Do you see an instant message, or millions of strengthened relationships? Do you see an app or creative entrepreneurs? An email or multiples of successful business transactions? Do you see charity or renewed faith in our shared humanity? Do you hear the laughter of millions of people in Africa's largest family? It's never enough to see only what's before us. That's why MTN is empowering a tomorrow that's driven by digital technology and made for Africa by Africans.
When I wake every morning, on my Muka mattress, yo, I'm feeling good, even better than my best, yo. I am feeling good.
Wake up on a Mocha mattress and wake up to feeling good.
Hello?
Welcome to the M6 Challenge. Using your new Gioni M6, carry out everything on that list, starting now. Get to the door. Congratulations, you have passed the test.
Gioni M6 with a 5,000 milliamp battery that lets you go on for 2 days on a single charge. Gioni M6, always in power.
Hello, dear. You've got the first signs of a sore throat.
Yes, and I'm afraid it could be signs of a sore throat.
Don't you worry. Just act immediately, but not with non-medicated throat sweets. Take an expert product. Take Strepsils. Look at what it does to sore throat germs compared to a throat sweet. Strepsils not only stops the germs from multiplying, it even kills them.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, sore throat. Stop a sore throat early. Take Strepsils.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth is in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
These instinct-formed importers of bulk pesticides, agrochemicals, feed supplements, feed concentrates, feed additives, premixes, fish meal, etc., and the public that they should visit Veterinary Medicines and Allied Products VMAP Directorate of NAFDAC, Isolo, Lagos, as from 5th December 2016 to submit application for their import permit for the year 2017. Guidelines can be accessed online at www.nafdac.gov.ng. Companies and individuals are advised to comply strictly with the stipulated guidelines, as default will attract severe sanction. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation. Management announcer.
To send and receive money across Africa in a flash, use Rapid Transfer today. To find out more, visit us online at ecobank.com. Move on up with EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
The Future Assured project and its components, Get Involved, initiated by the wife of the President, Her Excellency Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, is not relenting in championing the cause of Nigerian women and children. Its provision of free medical screening, educational support, and the fight against malnutrition, especially in the Northeast, has indeed informed international recognition, partnerships and awards.
We are very grateful and appreciative for your wonderful gesture you have accorded to us.
With Future Assured, Nigerian women and children are assured of a bright future.
Future is assured when we join hands to promote the health of our women and children. Get involved.
Get involved and support the Future Assured initiative. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching News Extra on the NTA. The federal government has warned serving and prospective corps members against hiding their health status from government officials to ensure their total safety while serving their fatherland. Minister of Youth and Sports Solomon Dalong and the Director General NYSC Brigadier General Suleiman Kazari gave the warning while condoling with the families of the 3 corps members at the NYSC headquarters in Abuja. Olainka Unju reports.
Given the report surrounding the death of the Youth Corps member, Fedolapo Rachel, that has caused so much controversies in the last few days, was said to have suffered kidney infection. Brigadier General Suleiman Kazaure said late Rachel first appeared at the NYSC camp clinic in Kano with complaints of headache and fever.
The orientation camp clinic, where the corps member was first treated, has a total of 31 qualified and registered doctors, 20 pharmacists, and 11 nurses.
While sympathizing with the family of the deceased, Minister of Youth and Sports Solomon Dalung said the federal government will continue to do everything within its power to sustain the NYSC.
We owe our youth the responsibility of preparing them to be future leaders. And it is only the NYSC that avail young Nigerians the opportunity of coming together to know Nigeria.
It will be recalled that Chinyerum and Asukwo Ukeme also died in Bayelsa and Zamfara State's NYSC orientation camps. In Abuja, Olainka Uju, NTA News.
In its commitment to safer roads environments, especially during the festive periods, the Federal Road Safety Corps has mapped out strategies through massive deployments of personnel and logistics for the end-of-year special patrol operations. This was at an interactive session by the Federal Road Safety Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi in Abuja. Olajide Bello reports that the theme of the special patrol is Crash the Crash, Speed Kills.
The interactive session, which is a continuation of the Corps' efforts to partner key players in the transportation sector, provided a platform to explore areas of joint actions against the menace of road crashes and review preparations for the end-of-year patrol operations. The Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi noted that the Corps recorded 38% reduction in road crashes between January to November 2016, with tankers and trailers' involvement put at 15.5% and 0.14% respectively.
To this end, 38 critical corridors have been identified for special patrol operation with the aim of reducing road traffic crashes, fatalities, and prompt removal of obstructions.
Deplorable state of roads, roadblocks, adequate road signs, and training of road users took center stage at the interactive session.
We call on government to address the issues of roads, bad roads in this country.
They must check it and see that before they can allow that vehicle to go out of the park, it is roadworthy.
And I set up a task force, monitor our vehicle on route, make sure alcohol is free.
The Corps Marshal also received the House Committee on Federal Road Safety Corps, where deliberations on effective legislations to boost the capacity of the Corps was discussed. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Up ahead is business report, but that will be after these messages.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
It's truck month at Ford, and we've got a Ranger just for you. Vincent,
Here's the Workhorse 2.5 petrol single cab with free Ford Protect, a 4-year 120,000-kilometer service plan. Or the 2.5 petrol-based double cab with 800mm water wading capability, available in manual transmission and with free Ford Protect. So while stocks last, visit Coscharis Motors today. Because, wait for it, thanks Vincent, we've got a tough Ford Ranger just for you.
Hello?
Welcome to the M6 Challenge. Using your new Gioni M6, carry out everything on that list, starting now. Get to the door. Congratulations, you have passed the test. Gioni M6 with a 5,000 milliamp battery that lets you go on for 2 days on a single charge. Gioni M6, always in power.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome back and thank you for being there. Now, let's talk business. Government is urged to engage local accountants and professionals as part of plans to strengthen its monitoring and evaluation of the 2016, 2017 to 2019 budget as experts decry consumers' apathy to paying electricity bills. Amechi Pius has the details on our business news segment.
Hello and nice to have you join us on Business News. The president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, Titus Soeton, has advised the federal government to engage local professionals in its strategy to strengthen monitoring and evaluation of budgets of ministries, departments, and agencies of government. Mr. Soeton told NTA Business News that such move by government will engender efficiency, accountability, and conserve foreign exchange for the nation.
If the government puts the appropriate machinery in motion, whether you hire a consultant from abroad or in Nigeria, the same payment procedure is followed, and so nothing can be wrong. So government should continue to examine its processes, make sure they are soundproof, make sure corruption does not take place, but make use of our personnel that have been well trained in Nigeria for government job. Let's encourage them, let's develop them, let's make them, let's patronize them. That is when our economy can develop.
As government explores ways of tackling the various problems in the nation's power sector, an operator in the industry, Oladele Amuda, has described government's metering plan to capture more Nigerians as one that will impact positively on the entire value chain of electricity production, transmission, and distribution.
The challenges will soon be over, with what government is doing, and people should endeavor. It's an essential, thing that everybody needs. So electricity is there to boost their businesses, and they should pay for it.
He told NTA Business News that the continued destruction of critical infrastructure of distribution companies will continue to negatively affect economic activities, particularly those that are largely dependent on power to survive. And that's Business News. Thanks for watching. The news continues shortly. Good evening.
Amechi Pius there for us on Business News. Now, the Federal High Court seated in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, has adjourned further hearing on a case brought before it by the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, against Augustine Dressman, Managing Director, Prime Microfinance Bank, in liquidation to 23 February 2017. Correspondent Clement Bariku completes the story.
The Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, in fulfillment of its mandate of recovering depositors' money from liquidated banks, had dragged Prime Microfinance Bank to the Federal High Court in Uyo after failure of out-of-court settlement. The managing director of the Microfinance Bank in liquidation, Mr. Austin Dressman, was accused of insider abuses which led to the failure of the Microfinance Bank, using Million Folds Investment Limited to transact banking business without license, which is contrary to Banks and Allied Financial Institutions Act, Cap B3, Laws of the Federation 2004, and double directorship of two companies, where he willingly and knowingly granted loans without collaterals. The counsel to NDIC called in two witnesses who testified against the defendant's action that led to the loss of depositors' funds. After cross-examination by defendant's counsel, the presiding judge of Federal High Court Uyo, Justice F. Oriman, adjourned further hearing on the matter to 23rd day of February 2017. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
Minister of State for Power, Works and Housing, Mustafa Baba Shehuri, says the federal government is ready to partner with any public or private organization towards the upliftment of the standard of education across the country. The minister stated this at the inauguration of laboratories for the Faculty of Engineering, University of Maiduguri, which was built by the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas NLNG. Abubakar Muhammad Musa completes the report. Well, sorry for the loss of audio in that report. We'll bring it to you in our subsequent news belt. Understanding structural drawing for building and regular supervision construction sites is the focus of a three-day workshop for civil engineers, allied professionals holding in Abuja. Science correspondent Kirian Umayo reports that the forum provided a common ground for professionals in the construction industry to access and synergize their various inputs at the construction site.
Participants deliberated on various aspects of building with emphasis on the latest development in building technology, civil and structural engineering analysis, soil investigative test before commencement of any construction work, bridge analysis, design and assessment. Natural and material factors are also being addressed as key elements in any construction business.
The architects, the quantity surveyors, the builder, and the structural engineers have to synergize. But the main man that knows what it is that can cause that building to collapse is the structural engineer.
What are the major reasons for building collapse in Nigeria?
The building is supposed to carry load, and therefore there must be strength of the structures to be able to carry the load. So if it's not well designed, it's not adequate, it can collapse. That is one source. Second source is that during the construction, there are some maturity level for all these materials. When we do concrete is supposed to be for 28 days before it can carry its maximum strength. But now during construction, you have just laid it maybe 3 days, then they come and put block on it, load it during construction, which has not matured, then it can collapse.
The workshop was organized by the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Abuja branch, in view of the building structural failures and collapses in Nigeria. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
Journeying in the digital environment is the focus, and many agencies which in the analog era depended on government subventions for their survival are now becoming money spinners. This is the same direction the Office of the Surveyor General of the Federation is sailing as it partners the Ordnances Survey Office of the United Kingdom, which has recorded success in this area. But in what specifics? Let's get more details from Neil Giddy.
In the United Kingdom, the postal code is very important because it is a requirement for you to sign up for any of the social services. And this code was generated by the Ordnance Survey Office of the Great Britain, which can be likened to that of the Office of the Surveyor General of the Federation in Nigeria, in collaboration with the Royal Mails in Great Britain, which can be likened to that of NIPOST in Nigeria. And this interagency collaboration generates over £200 million every year for the government of the United Kingdom. So, the Ordnance Survey Office of the Great Britain is visiting their counterparts in Nigeria, that is the Office of the Surveyor General of the Federation, to see how the Office of the Surveyor General of the Federation in Nigeria can generate revenue for the government instead of depending on subventions. Considering Nigeria's population, provision of accurate and up-to-date geospatial data relied upon by government, businesses and individuals will be a good takeoff point. This must, however, come through online servicing. Beyond the surveillance of the movement of the Earth's plane to check Earth tremor, such database can provide accurate streets and house addresses in municipal areas as well as on land and property market with codes, which is the subject matter between Nigeria and the United Kingdom's agencies.
If everything works according to plan, deliver $3 billion extra to the Nigerian economy. But actually it's about joining different government data sets together.
What we need is just some little encouragement or push in terms of seed training and money, and we can get to those technologies.
However, for this to succeed in Nigeria, many data collection agencies would have to come to a satisfactory meeting point and the laws pertaining to privacy be reviewed. In Abuja, Mie Ogide, NTA News.
Now, the telecommunications regulator said the suspension of data tariff is to enable the Commission to consult widely for an acceptable new data regime. Director of NCC Public Affairs, Mr. Tony Ojobo, stated this in the media parley, and Ruben Okala reports.
More Nigerians have continued to explore the internet using data. The telecom regulator last week suspended the new price in data due to public outcry. NCC Director Public Affairs, Mr. Ojobo, who led other officials of the Commission in the parley with the media, was emphatic that price of data in Nigeria is friendly compared to other parts of the world.
Understanding the dynamics of this industry worldwide, globally, and making sure that we are not left out. The way the world is going with Internet of Things coming, and I keep emphasizing that, you need huge investments for us to be able to enjoy Internet of Things.
That will sustain the industry, that will encourage the industry, expand the network. Because if we don't expand, we will not be able to enjoy the benefits of ICT.
We can witness a situation where an efficient operator will not be able to price at a level that the dominant operator will price if they are engaging in anti-competitive practices. If they decide deliberately to price below cost, an operator that is efficient will not be able to price at that level.
The Commission says issues of power, taxation and foreign exchange remain some of the challenges facing the industry in Nigeria. NCC emphasized that it does not fix prices. Rather, what it does is what it calls price floor. And in doing that, the Commission says it will remain responsive to both the operators and the consumers. In Abuja, Ruben Okala, NTA News.
Learn Africa Education Development Foundation has reiterated its commitment to partnering the federal government to reposition the education sector by inspiring and promoting academic excellence across the country. Musa Toliat has more details.
The academic prowess of these outstanding shining stars did not go unnoticed as Learn Africa Education Development Foundation rolled out the drums to celebrate their daunting academic achievements. The 3 overall best NECO candidates in the country emerged from Gwagwalada in the Federal Capital Territory. Egbunu Mudi Gabriel went home with the first prize, while Suleiman Ibrahim was second overall best. Both were from the School for the Gifted in Gwagwalada, Abuja. Osemeke Mary, a A student of Louisville Senior Girls Secondary School, Gwagwalada, Abuja, was the third overall best candidate.
They are helping students out there to really read and, go into healthy competitions and come out with good results.
I really thank Learn Africa for providing an opportunity for my hard work to be rewarded.
Learn Africa also rewarded candidates with best grades in various subjects. Sandy Okwangete from the School for the Gifted, Gwagwalada, emerged as the overall best teacher.
How can teachers' reward be in heaven? Learn Africa today, they have proof us that it is not in heaven. Basically, it starts from here.
Officials of Learn Africa PLC say the organization will continue to publish life-transforming academic materials and deliver educational content through a digital technology platform to fast-track learning among Nigerian students.
We were much more interested in merit and interested also in rewarding merit. So we're making our contribution, and we won't relent.
I want to thank Learn Africa for making this possible.
In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTA News.
In the next part, agricultural experts converge on Ibadan. The mission, improving soil fertility. We'll bring you details in just a moment.
The National Chairman, All Progressives Congress, APC, Chief John Ike Odige Oyogun, CON, cordially requests the presence of the team members and supporters of our great party to the Rivers State Legislative Elections mega rally, scheduled to hold as follows. Date, Thursday, 8th December 2016. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, Yakubu Gowon Stadium, Elekaya, Port Harcourt. Announcer, His Excellency Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, Governor of Kano State and Chairman, Rivers State National Campaign Council.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
Would you like some water? It's cold, especially for you.
Which era are you living in? We have a fridge.
When everything else in your house is from the present, then why are your toilet cleaning methods from the past? Harpic, all-in-one for you. Compared to other toilet cleaners, Harpic removes top stains, kills all germs, and removes bad odors for a shining clean and fresh toilet.
Wow.
You should also take the Harpic
all-in-one challenge.
Do you crave class? Do you have taste? And do you care about comfort? If you do, then for your next event, a stay away from home, a business trip, or a holiday, visit Jade's Hotel at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Check out our world-class services, exquisite suites, restaurant and bar, gymnasium, spa and grills, and our outdoor catering services and cuisines. At Jade's, it can only be better. For bookings and reservations, visit us today at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, or visit www.jadeshotels.com. Our email address is info@jadeshotels.com. You can also call us on 09291-9321 or 0810-909-7956. Jade's Hotels. Welcome to life.
Nigeria joins the rest of the world in going digital. This means Nigeria is moving from analog terrestrial TV broadcasting to digital. Now, digital broadcasting gives you clearer pictures, crystal clear sound, and a chance for more channels and more shows to watch. Digital TV is a whole new experience for you and a rich harvest of digital events for the nation. Come aboard, Nigeria going digital.
latest edition of TV Guide is out. This edition of your favorite magazine will simply blow your mind. The package is loaded, and our offering is quite illuminating. NTA has a new Director General, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, a tested and trusted professional, an old wine that keeps getting better with age. This is the new driver of the digital switch over train. Get to know him more in TV Guide. And now, on our cover is one of Nigeria's finest comic actors, Afiz Oyetoro, aka Saka. Peep into his world and you will see how he is putting from glory to glory. The change agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari, we did an assessment survey. All our refreshing columns and incisive features are a collector's item and research materials. TV Guide, available on your newsstands and in all NTA stations nationwide. Also in our embassies in United Kingdom, USA, China, Ghana, and Egypt. TV Guide, grab a copy and give one to a friend. TV Guide. Still your indispensable companion.
Welcome back. The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons has flagged off its first phase of distribution of humanitarian relief materials, targeting over 2 million IDPs in the Northeast region. The event took place in Borno and Yobe states. Maimuna Garba reports.
The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, which has over the years played a significant role during the Chadian civil war, has now extended its benevolence to IDPs, offering various humanitarian assistance to them. At the presentation of the relief materials in Maiduguri, Federal Commissioner of the Commission, Sadia Umar Farouk, says the federal government intends to maintain the relief efforts on a frequent basis and at a much larger scale. To further ensure more permanent presence of the Commission in the state, 2 office accommodations will be established by the Commission in Maiduguri.
Estimated number is about 2.4 million of displaced persons. So every displaced person, we intend to reach out to them, either as individuals or as families.
Borno State Governor Kashim Shatima, represented by the Chief of Staff Government House, Alhaji Modu Musa, commended the federal government for the gesture and promised to ensure equitable distribution of the items. Member representing Goza, Dombua and Chibok Federal Constituency, Dr. Asabe Vilita Bashir, advised the beneficiaries not to sell the items and make good use of it. The Federal Commissioner also met with the Theatre Commander Operation Lafia Dole and the Shehu of Dikwa, where she solicited their support. Similar exercise was launched in Damaturu, Yobe State, where the Commission distributed relief materials to the IDPs. The Federal Commissioner assured of the Commission's readiness to alleviate the sufferings of the IDPs and support the effort of the state government towards rehabilitating victims of insurgency. She also met with the State Deputy Governor and the Emirs of Damaturu and Gujiba. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
We're not done yet. It was Election Day in Ghana, and we'll bring you details shortly.
Hear the call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. Go to so let the change begin from within. Look at you, oh Gerula. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
Welcome back. The presidential and parliamentary election in Ghana witnessed a large turnout of voters reported across the 10 regions of the country. Muhammad Ali reports that some voters were at polling stations 2 hours before they were opened.
76-year-old Mama Abiy was at this polling station in Nativity as early as 6 o'clock to book her line but she still met a crowd. That is how enthusiastic the voters in Ghana are about the presidential and parliamentary election taking place in the country. Voting, however, started a little behind schedule in some places, including this area, which has 5 polling stations. The people, however, waited patiently until the exercise commenced. Leader of the ECOWAS Election Observation Mission, Professor Emma Sawyer, and his team were at about 5 polling stations at the opening of the elections and sums up his assessment thus.
It's going very well so far. A slow start, slightly slow start, where we observed at the beginning. But things are going well. We have a case right now seeing for the first disabled person voting, and it's going well. As far as we can see, things are organized well, and the process is going on okay.
Well, so far we are extremely impressed with the voter turnout and the peaceful and orderly manner within which the Ghanaians are exercising their constitutional right. We will only like to encourage them, to keep up this trend, and hopefully we will have an extremely peaceful election over the course of the day, which will be another shining example for the sub-regions.
Voting closes at 5 o'clock local time, and collation begins immediately. No major incident of violence have so far been reported. In Accra, Ghana, Mohammed Ali, NTA News.
Youth and Sports Development Minister Solomon Dalong has assured on the launching of a book which chronicles Nigeria's sports from 1884 to 2016. The minister gave the assurance when he received the book's publisher, led by NTA's Director General Yakubu Ibn Mohammed in Abuja. IODG Makinde reports.
Minister of Youth and Sports Development Solomon Dalong, while receiving a delegation from the Nigerian Television Authority, led by its Director General Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, who presented Nigeria's Sports Book of Records, identified lack of appropriate documentation of history and the absence of an effective reward system as 2 major problems of Nigeria's sports development.
What we are doing today is that NTA is challenging Federal Ministry of Education to go back and reintroduce history, because they have gone to extreme history and they will be presenting it to Nigerians.
NTA Director General Yakubu Ibn Mohammed described the 265-page compendium by African Image as a perfect research of sports facts and history compiled to add to existing literature in the field of academics.
This book, to all intents and purposes, is a compendium of historic sporting events, historic sporting heroes, Nigerian heroes, and it's a book that is akin to the Guinness Book of Records.
The book is the result of a tripartite arrangement between the Sports Ministry, NTA, and African Image, and is expected to be launched upon the endorsement of President Muhammadu Buhari. A certificate will be presented to each individual cited in the book in honor of their contributions to sports in Nigeria. In Abuja, IODG Makinde, NTA News.
Still talking sports, NFF appeals to Super Falcons over unpaid allowances as Djokovic splits with coach Becker. Amanzi Marcus reports.
The Nigeria Football Federation has promised to pay the victorious Super Falcons all their financial entitlements whenever the money is available. A press statement from the Nigeria Football Federation indicates Mohammed Sanusi, the General Secretary of the body, made the promise Tuesday